Many Africans are currently asking themselves who actually owns the African Union. Is it Africans or is it just another puppet that is being mastered by the West? This comes after the African Union on the 22nd of August suspended Niger from the Union. Now, the African Union is very much justified in its suspension of Niger. And this is a double-edged sword, and I'll come back to why I asked that question later on in my commentary. But if you look at the things that have been happening in Niger, there was a coup by the presidential elite guard that ousted the former president Mohamed Bazoum from office. And a lot has been happening since that coup went down. The military coup was attributed to poor governance, poor leadership, and massive influence of France in the country. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, you know that I have come on here and I've spoken a lot about the influence that France has on West Africa. And France is like that toxic ex post-colonialism. Any relationship that you have with France is not going to be a good one. It's very one-sided and it only benefits France. I've spoken about this in previous videos on even if you're doing business La France Afrique, which favors France at the expense of Africans. And when the coup happened, unlike many other African countries where when a coup happens, there's a public frenzy, there's a civil outcry, everybody is condemning, particularly on the continent, leaders come out and condemn the coup. In Niger, it was very different. We saw the people of Niger coming out to the streets and actually supporting the junta and saying, we're in full support of the military coup because we're tired. We want to take back our country. We want to be in charge of our own politics. We want our resources to work for us. We want this country to work for Nigerians. And you never see that a lot, by the way. You never see people going out in the streets in support of a military coup because let's not get it twisted. A military coup is just that, a military coup. The military are known for being very brute and having very little regard for human rights. They're known to have very little regard to law and justice, and they will not adhere to the constitution and the law of the land because they're the military. They do things their own way. So for people to know this and still go out in the streets in support of the military junta seizing power from President Mohamed Bazoum, that should tell you something. Also, the Niger coup is very complicated because we're seeing the French being heavily invested. President Emmanuel Macron had to backtrack on his previous sentiments where he had said they're very willing and much ready to invade Niger. And, you know, he had to backtrack and say, oh, no, that's not what I said. I only said that if French interests and if French people are harmed. But then again, that raises the question, what are French interests? Why does France have so much interest in Niger that when Niger is reorganizing its internal politics, France feels the need to intervene? And so all these factors notwithstanding, I think that the AU should have had a conversation with both the ousted President Mohamed Bazoum and the military junta and listen to the people of Niger. Not everything is cast in stone. And so this suspension almost looks premature and it wasn't meditated, or if it was meditated upon, it was not in the interest of the people of Niger. The African Union is supposed to be serving Africans, and the people of Niger are part of the African Union. So this suspension almost feels like it's a textbook suspension, but when you also look at it, it almost feels like there's somebody behind the African Union putting pressure on the African Union to suspend Niger so that Nigerians and the military junta can feel the pressure and can feel like they're boxed into a corner and start having dialogue leaning towards a particular direction. Anyway, we wait and see what other African countries will do, how they're going to react. I mean, all the other West African countries that have gone through a military coup in heavy support of Niger. So we wait to see what they will say, what they'll do, and also what the military junta will say about the suspension. My name is Adera Ganga. I like talking about Black people, Africa, empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place at the global stage. I'll see you again next time.